Now we're going to add a new type of platform, one that our players can destroy. And we'll start by going to our tiles folder and finding one of the bricks. What we're going to do is create a standard brick like you would see in Mario that our player can jump up, hit, and destroy. And then we'll add some other ways to destroy bricks as well. So we're going to start by just taking a brick and I'm going to drag it right out here, maybe next to this platform. I'll fix the position to be a flat negative 3.5 and a 0 so that it's perfectly aligned here. And then we're going to go modify it a little bit. First thing I want to do is rename it to brick. I might name it brick brown too, just so that it matches because we have a gray one, but I think I'll leave it as brick for now until I decide that I want to have a gray brick as well. And then we'll add a box collider 2D to it. Next, we're going to need to add a script for this thing so that we can make it destroy or make it get destroyed when we hit it, specifically when we hit it from below though. So we're going to create a new script in our scripts folder and we'll call that the brick script. So right click, create a new C# script and name it brick. I generally like to name things after what they're going on until they get to a point where they become more abstract and they're used for multiple things. Then I might go about renaming it. But since this is just a brick, I'm going to add it as a brick script for now. It didn't open up my brick script, so I'm just going to double click and force it to open. So I've got my brick script here, and what I want to do is deal with collisions from the bottom only. So I'm going to get rid of start and update because I don't think that I'm going to need those, and we'll add an on collision enter 2D method. On collision enter 2D will fire off whenever we hit this brick with our player or anything else. So the first thing we probably want to do is check to make sure that the thing hitting it is a player. So we'll say var player equals collision dot game object dot get component, and we'll get the player component. This should give me back a player if we have one, and if not, we just want to return. So I'll say if player is equal to null, so if we don't have any player, then return and do nothing. So if we do have a player, we'll continue on. Otherwise, we'll do what's called an early exit, where we'll just check to see if we have a player. If we do, we'll save them off. Otherwise, we bail out and don't run any code. Return's just going to make it exit this method without running any of the code after it. I'm going to get rid of that private keyword, and then we'll add in the next bit of logic. So the next thing that we need to do is check to see if the player hit the brick from below or if they hit it from above or the side. Really, we just care if they hit it from below. And to check that, we can use the dot product. First, though, we need to get the normal of our collision. So we'll say var, or let's say vector2, and be a little bit more explicit here. Vector2, and this will be our normal, is equal to collision dot contact 0 dot normal. You can see it's going to autocomplete. So this is the angle that we collided at. And what we can do with it is use that vector dot 2 dot dot product. Let's take a look at it right here. And it takes in two different vectors. So give it a left vector and a right vector, or the first one and the second one. And what it's going to do is return a 1 if they point in the exact same direction, a -1 if they point in the opposite direction, and some value in between if it's close. So if I give it a right-hand side of up and a left-hand side of a vector that's down because our normal was down, then it's going to give me a -1. If I give it a right-hand side of up and our normal was up, it's going to give it directly straight up and down. It's going to give us a 1. If it's at some angle, it's going to give us some value greater than 0 and probably some value greater than 0.5, depending on what the exact angle is. So let's take a look at this in practice. So I've got my normal here, and then I'm going to get the dot product, and I'm going to say float dot equals vector2 dot normal. No, sorry, dot, not normal. And then we'll pass in our normal and vector2 dot up as our second one. So this is going to give us that dot product. Then we're going to log it. So we'll say debug dot log and just write out that dot product just so we can see what it is. And then finally, we'll say if the dot product is greater than, let's say 0.5, then we want to destroy our game object. So we'll say destroy game object, and that's going to destroy our brick. Let's try that out real quick, see what it looks like, and then see if this code and logic is correct, or if we might need to invert or switch this. So we'll jump over to Unity, we'll press play. And I'm going to run over, we'll go to the console tab. Oh, that platform is moving a little fast. Jump and take a look. Well, I didn't add the brick script, so we didn't get anything. So I'll add the brick script to our brick, and then we'll jump again, and we can see that we got a 1 and the brick was destroyed. Let's stop playing, go add the brick script in not play mode, and then let's go land on top of that brick and see what it does. Make sure that we can jump on top of the brick and it doesn't break, or we can hit the brick maybe from the side and it also doesn't break. So if I hit it from the side, you can see that the normal was a 0, and if I go up to the top, we see that that normal is a -1. Here you can see I got a -0.5 or whatever when close to that when I was jumping sideways. And if I come at it at an angle, you see that we still, it looks like we still got about a 1 on that normal because we hit perfectly flat up and down. So that looks good for destroying our first brick. Let's turn it into a prefab though. So we'll go into the project view, go into our prefabs folder that's starting to get a little bit full, but we'll split this out soon. And we'll take our brick and drag it in. Now it's a prefab, and we'll save off our sandbox scene. I'm gonna go to plastic and say that we created a brick that gets destroyed from with hits from below. So added brick that destroys when hit from below. And check in.